Today I'm going to be teaching you about how to wrap this plaster head with clay and just talk about some of those things that you want to keep in mind. So the first thing is, like, your plaster head needs to be wrapped either in newspaper or a plastic bag so that you can get the clay off of the piece without it getting stuck. And I just use tape. Some of the molds over there already have this on it, but you can see there's tape like holding it on so that it's secure, okay? So then I have 3 different slabs here. This one is thickest and these 2 are the same thickness. So on the slab roller, you can remove boards. I'm gonna just take you over there. So on here, pretty nifty, you can remove boards that are underneath here to make your slab thicker. And if you add more, obviously, that makes it thinner. So the reason why you have thicker and thinner is because on the front of the face, you want a thicker slab, and that's due to the fact that you're going to be pressing in your eye sockets and like your cheek, like underneath your cheek area. So you want the clay to be thick so it doesn't get too thin. And these 2 I rolled on the slab roller. I've removed 1 board and it's like that right now, so you wouldn't have to remove it again. And then this one, I actually just used these sticks. So you can do it with a rolling pin as well, because I know some of you won't have access to the slab roller. But in terms of getting my thick one, I used 3 boards and I placed it on either side. I used my rolling pin to get it the same. The sticks help to get it even and make it the same thickness. Okay, so I am gonna start with the front of the face. Make sure you all can see that well. I'm gonna pull this closer. Okay, so once you like have these made, it's pretty simple to do. So you are gonna have to like press up the clay against the mold to define that shape. Some of you might only be using the front of the mold to get the face and then build something else that you're going to be putting the front of the face on. Some of you are going to be doing the full head. So if you're going to do the full head, you'll need more clay. That's why I have these 2 to add more. If you're gonna do the front of the face, this can like wobble off. I would still put something here that would connect to this just to hold it on as you're working. And as you work, the clay is gonna shrink, so it's gonna stick and like suction itself here. Okay, so when you add on your next layers, when you do it, you're not gonna just set it up against here. You wanna actually overlap the clay onto the other piece of clay so that it's stable. As long as the clays are the same consistency, you don't have to slip and score. So I'm going to push up against this other piece, and I really want to get it on there so they're completely suctioned together. Realize if you don't do this, you could have some big trapped air bubbles underneath here. So with slab work, it's very important that it's pressed up against there really well. Okay, and then I'm just gonna bend this clay back around. And I mentioned yesterday, some of the molds are better than others in terms of like shape. So on this one, it has a very wide neck, or almost like it starts to create the shoulders. You might like that. If you don't, once you get your clay off of here, you can kind of paddle that in a little bit as long as it's not too hard. So I just really want to try to suction this as much as I can. When I get it all together, you can use a rib, and that will really make this adhere to the surface and make it smooth, make it nice and strong. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you take this off, you want it to sit on the table. So if you're building this and it doesn't go all the way down to the edge, or you have like an uneven cut neckline here, you would want to work on that, because when you take it off of here, you want it to be able to stabilize and stand up by itself. So I'm not going to go over the other step, the last part of this, because you can see it's pretty self-explanatory, like how you would do that. I wouldn't need this whole thing, so be mindful that you cut this up so we're not using too much clay. And then once you have this done, then you can start laying out, once you have it really suctioned on there and smooth, you can start laying out your proportions of your face. Everybody will get a packet like this. It walks you through some of those where things are placed on the face, and then just some images so that when you're actually sculpting, you can see some of the shapes and like how they look. There will be videos to come on like how to sculpt certain things to make them look as accurate as you can. One thing I just want to say before you go, if you could please use either the white clay or the gray clay. You can choose how you want to glaze it. I probably have enough of the chocolate brown clay too, but the speckled clay and the terracotta clay I'm getting low on. So that's all I got for you right now.